I wasn't comfortable with you exposing a part of our, private life. But I, had to come to a place where I realized that if you had prayed about it and God had told you to move forward with it, that I had to sit back and humble myself and sit down. It wasn't about me.
Hey, sweetie.
Hey, sweetie.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. This is the day.
This is the day
the Lord has made,
and we will rejoice and be glad in it.
Love you.
I love you so much.
All right. How y'all doing? My name is Peter McNeil.
And I'm Pam McNeil.
And together we are This is the Day podcast.
Yes, a new podcast.
A new podcast. And if this is your first time, just hit the subscribe button so you can get a weekly dose of inspiration, motivation, and education. And just hear from a husband and wife team that enjoys creating content that will impact the global community as well as spark conversation.
Yes.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. We in Nashville.
Yes, our first time in Nashville.
Nashville, Tennessee.
Yes.
Shit, we travelers, baby. We global.
Yeah, we said we would be international, national, all of that, transcontinental.
Speaking all that to existence.
Mm-hmm. So, Peter, you have been on this journey to be a director, writer, and just not stopping. And one of the issues that we faced with our first feature was a pandemic, something that the United States had never, or the world had ever experienced before.
Yes.
So I know that would have deterred a lot of people, but it didn't deter you. So do you want to talk about what it was that allow you as the head of A Brighter Path to say, I'm going to move forward with this production? Because like we know, our show is in podcast is to inspire people and people who have goals and dreams, to inspire them not to give up, to say if God is with you, you can do it. You want to take us through that journey of what it was like for you to say, because you had to be the one to make the ultimate call of whether your production company was going to shoot a feature film during a pandemic. And there was the COVID virus that was out, that was very contagious. A lot of people died from it. So talk about that whole process of you making an executive decision to shoot a feature film during a pandemic.
All right, so I'm gonna go back and just bring it up to that part.
Okay.
Because Urge wasn't going to be our first project we was going to film. It was going to be Postal, which is based off my novel. All right, I converted it into a 13 episodic screenplay. All right, this is in 2019. I completed it as a 13 episodic screenplay, and we was gearing up for pre-production. All right, so we had to get people on board for production. Steve Saxon, who's a director of photography, came on board first, and then we hired the services of LaQuanda Plant, who became my casting director. So she got out and got our cast. So we rolled over to 2020, armed and ready to film. And of course, we have our assistant director, Rigo Nova. All right, so we had our cast, we had our production team, we had our locations, all right, and we was geared up to film in April 2020. The next thing you know, the world just started shutting down. It just started shutting down. It wasn't the United States first, it was other countries. But then it came over here, where everybody started hearing, cast members started hearing about other countries shutting down and states here in this country, and we were still primed to go. I asked the team, are we still moving forward? People, now this is in March, this is early March, and people say, yeah, we still going, because people didn't know really what was going on.
Right.
People didn't know what was happening.
Right.
But eventually, once it hit New York, the big cities, that's when a lot of cats were, yo, we got to shut this down because something serious happening. People catching this illness. I don't know if they even knew the name at the time.
Right.
And I just had to make an executive decision and shut it all the way down. And once we did, we was like, whoa, what is really going on? What is happening? Okay, because a lot of people started, like you're saying, dying.
But we didn't shut it down, so.
We shut down the project as far as postal.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we shut postal down.
Right.
This was in the tail mid to the end of March.
Right.
Before we even hit April.
Right.
And then a lot of businesses started closing, and we as a country, as a world, we was facing a serious crisis. The pandemic caused a lot of people to really reflect on themselves, me included. Okay, I had to really reflect on what we was about to do, something that we really shouldn't have done, which was start filming postal to begin with. All right, because we was about to invest all of our financial resources in the first episode. Okay, we didn't have money for the rest of the episodes, and I really thought about it afterwards and was like, wow, I was about to put us in a situation.
Taking a risk, because
it was taking a risk.
That somebody would pick it up. After we filmed the first episode,
but you know what,
but
though?
It was a risk.
It was a risk, but at the same time, a weight lifted off my shoulders because just like I said, just reflecting on what we was about to do before we shut everything down, it was the wrong thing to do because we had locations, we were just settling on them locations, okay? And I just felt like things wasn't right. We was going to do it, but the pandemic shut it down and we didn't do it. And I don't want to say it took a pandemic for me to really focus on that, but it did. So I really was like blaming myself for putting us in that financial dilemma, and I really had to do some deep thinking. It put me in a funk. Okay, a lot of business was shut down. My company was still, a lot of people were still working at the steel company, but I had to do some self-reflection, and I spoke to you, and I called LaQuanda.
LaQuanda is our casting director.
LaQuanda Plant is our casting director, and more. Okay, she's been instrumental in our movements. So, I told her, I said, we was about to do this, and she said, I didn't think y'all should have went that route in the first place as far as doing a mini series. But then she suggested, why don't you do a feature film? And at the time, I kind of brushed that to the side and didn't, I said, oh yeah, okay. But during the upcoming week when I was going to work, I thought about it.
Right.
I thought about what she said. And I came home and I asked you, what should we do? And what did you say to me?
You pray on it. You need to pray on it.
You need to pray on it. Okay? First I had to reflect. You said pray on it. Went to bed and prayed on it. Now, I just want to backtrack a little bit more. While we was doing all this, every now and then, as far as getting the episodes completed, I was still doing Urge as a book. Because Posted was a book, the follow-up was Urge as a book. I was halfway through with Urge as being a novel.
Right.
So, after I went to bed, and I woke up in the morning, early in the morning, and I swear to you, God spoke to me and said, you got to convert Urge into a feature film. That's going to be your first project. When you woke up and I shared that with you, and what was your thoughts on when I shared
Let's do it. Yeah, I was ready to support.
You was ready to support. And I was happy I got your support. Okay? So because this was like Yeah, like I said, the tail end of March, going into April.
Yeah.
So the next 3 months, I went into converting Urge into a full-featured screenplay.
Yeah.
So, April, May, June, probably in July, that's when I finished.
Yes.
And I shared that screenplay with Steve Saxon, our cinematographer. He was like, let's do this. This is good. Shared it with LaQuanda. She said, let's do this. Okay? And she went out and got a new cast. All right? And we had a long talk about the screenplay to begin with. But I dove deep into it.
Right.
And got your blessings.
Yeah, it wasn't easy and it wasn't quick. But eventually you got my blessings. I was not comfortable with the subject, and I wasn't comfortable with you exposing a part of our, private life. But I, had to come to a place where I realized that if you had prayed about it, that God had told you to move forward with it, that I had to sit back and humble myself and sit down. It wasn't about me.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It wasn't about you, because I saw how this was going to open up. It was going to touch the ones that are dealing with this certain addiction.
Right.
That's who I was doing this. That's what this whole film was about.
Okay. And the film is Urge. So I still have my T-shirt from when we did production.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
So.
yes. And once we assembled our cast.
Yes.
And assembled production. We had a lot again. Rigo Nova was on board. He loved the script. I think LaQuanda, Steve, Rigo, and the cast members really gravitated towards the script because they knew it was personal, transparent, and they was like, okay, and they like, this needs to be told.
A story that needed to be told. They appreciated the fact that the characters weren't stereotypical, that it was real, and the characters were three-dimensional, and so everybody was excited to be a part of the project.
And the challenges that the main character, James Richards, faced, okay, with this addiction, going into a marriage, still with this addiction, okay?
Right. Do you want to share what the topic is about?
Yeah, it's a porn addiction. James is in denial of an addiction.
Acting like this is all brand new to you. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, when we first started dating, didn't I share with you that I like to watch a little adult entertainment from time to time?
That addiction is impacting his family structure to the core.
Whatever you did, you need to fix it.
The addiction is called pornography.
I'm paying my bills, I'm taking care of my family. Okay, I like to watch porn.
James' story is my story, and this is my testimony I'm sharing with the world. Check out her. Urge is about a newlywed husband in denial of a porn addiction, which is damaging his family structure to the core. Okay, it's based on my life. Okay, I had to deal with this addiction for a long time until I overcame it. So I just wanted to share that. Pretty much it's a testimony of my life, and thank God for my queen for being there during my times. Never looked down on me, really supported me, was my support system, and not only my overcoming that battle, but as well as our film.
Right.
So I thank her so much. Thank you, boo.
You're welcome. I'm always going to support you. We might not always see eye to eye on everything with our vision, but I'm always going to support you.
Exactly.
And one of the things I always remember is a great compliment that you got about the movie Urge was that, Peter reflects on how the addiction impacted him not in a positive way, but did it in such a way that it wasn't pointing fingers or what's the word Danielle used?
She mentioned it wasn't ugly, it
right.
wasn't judgmental.
It wasn't judgmental. Right.
Yeah.
If you watch it, you don't feel like somebody is making you feel less than, because everybody has some vice.
She said,
yeah,
you go check out that interview with the cast. We have it, well, just go on our channel and find it. But she said you don't leave there feeling ugly
or
about
small
yourself.
or small. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Just the way I crafted it. It was intentional.
Right.
I didn't want people to feel, who are going through that addiction,
right,
to feel some type of way.
That's right.
Okay? There's, there's the issues,
right,
and they are solution based.
That's
okay?
right.
Cause and effect, all right?
Right.
But I want people to know, okay, you gotta face whatever addiction or issues you're dealing with. That's the only way you're gonna overcome it.
Exactly,
okay?
You have to face it.
And now again, some people may not be in that place to face it, because I know I wasn't back in the 90s.
Right.
I thought it was just something that wasn't harming anybody. I wasn't harming no one.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Even though I was harming myself spiritually.
Right.
I wasn't focusing on the God within.
That's exactly
right.
right.
I was distracted with that.
Right.
People got their own vices. That poem was mine.
Exactly.
So.
Right.
But going back to filming in the pandemic, everything that felt wrong with my doubts with Postal, getting Postal up and running, everything felt right with Urge, because we shot it in 2021.
Yes.
Okay, April of 2021, a year after. Okay, and again,
but the world country was still impacted.
Exactly, it was still, that's the pandemic period.
Yeah, it was.
We were still masked up. On our production team, we had Beverly Lawther, who was our safety compliance officer. We're making sure everybody's temperature met the requirements. Everybody was masked up. Yeah. Okay. Everybody, we had all that covered.
Yes.
All right, as an independent production company. And it was shot here in Charlotte, North Carolina. And it was a beautiful 10-day shoot.
Yes, it was.
It was a beautiful, beautiful 10-day shoot, and everybody brought their A game.
Yeah, but what I want to let the audience know is that it's so important to bring God into whatever you're doing, because like Peter said, it was a 10-day shoot, and it was still, we were under those guidelines to distance from each other, protect yourselves, and nobody got COVID. And we did pray. The night we all came together for the table read, we brought God into the midst and prayed and had prayer often.
Yeah, so, led by Ashley Forestier, that table read, and Daniel LaRoche was bringing it throughout. Yeah. We were blessed.
When God tells you to do something, it is not always going to be what's popular. We get so disoriented and confused by social media and what is popular. And Peter's story isn't a popular topic, but if God feels like that story needs to be told, we have to obey him. And so it was definitely a learning lesson that we are continuing to push this project. Some people still look at it as being a controversial topic, but it is a meaningful topic, because we know a lot of the lust that people are dealing with lead to so many deviant behaviors. Sex trafficking is running rampant in this country. And so all of that lust and all of that, you gotta think about what's the source of that. So, all of the porn addiction, what
it could lead to.
Right.
Lead down a rabbit hole you really don't want to go to.
That's right.
Or go down.
That's right.
You've seen a lot of, I don't want to go there, but you see what a lot of celebrities are dealing with.
Exactly.
Things are coming back.
Lust.
Yeah, coming back to haunt them.
Because of lust.
And
because of lust.
We got to really start changing our ways to happen. But the proof that what we created was touching people's lives when we had our premieres. Yeah. Here I keep saying here, we're in Nashville, but in Charlotte, North Carolina, in Atlanta, Georgia,
Right.
and Houston, Texas.
Right.
It affected a lot of people that was in the audience who was dealing with that addiction.
Yes.
All right, whether it was coming to me privately or saying it out publicly. All right, married couples, it didn't matter, pulling me outside.
Right.
I knew, I said, okay, this was something that needed to be told, and I'm glad that we went forth and did.
Yep, he got a lot of confirmation at the premieres because, of course, but at the same time, with this streaming, Peter has had a
Yes.
couple of people reach out to him on social media to say
Oh my
it
God!
impacted
I mean,
their
they
lives.
were finding me.
Right,
You know,
so that speaks volumes.
it's still to this
yeah,
day.
absolutely.
To
Yes.
this day, thanking me. I still keep in touch. How you doing?
Yeah.
You know, where you at in
Yeah.
life? Where you at?
Right.
People say I'm still struggling.
Right.
But I'm doing less and less of it.
Amen.
And I'm trying to figure
Amen.
out what God has for me.
Amen.
You know, we all have our assignments, okay?
Yeah.
And it's always that battle of good and evil that we have to, distinguish which way we're gonna go.
Right.
Okay. All right. When you get to a certain age, you really gotta look. I gotta put all that aside. And I gotta figure out why I'm here to begin with.
Exactly.
And it's not about yourself. It wasn't about me.
Right.
Okay. We gotta get out of we're here to be of service. The gifts that God placed in us, the assignments that's within us that we have to birth out of us is for other people, okay?
Not serving yourself.
Not serving
That's what
yourself.
he was doing, spending
Okay.
all those hours in front of that TV. So no, we're not judging people, but
Yeah.
we know when it boils down to it, is not God's purpose and plan is not for you to serve yourself.
Exactly.
Okay.
All right, because we're born to be of service.
Amen.
And I kept that, Pastor John Gray said
Yes.
that. We went to, I forgot where we went.
Megafest.
The Megafest. TJ, we're born to be of service.
A solution. God created
us to be a solution.
solution to something.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that stayed with me. It stayed with us.
Yeah.
All right. So, on that note,
Yeah.
I think we covered it all. So,
Yeah.
I had to reflect, I had to listen to God, and then execute. All right.
Yes.
And just put it out there. Okay.
And when it is God involved and it's ordained from God, not
Yes.
even a pandemic can stop it from happening.
Exactly.
So remember that.
All right.
And so you guys know our platform. We're a Brighter Path Production, and our podcast is This Is the Day, because we want to always uplift and inspire people.
All right. Case in point, this is the day to be of service.
Amen.
This is the day to be grateful.
Yes.
This is the day to put forth effort and into whatever God has for you. Okay, go out and do it. Okay,
Yes.
Whatever passion you have within inside that's within you that is just have a burning desire to come out. It's there for a reason. Okay, God is saying, let's go. This is what I want you to do through this medium. Okay,
Yes.
whether it's entertainment, whether it's whatever field. Okay, go and do it. Okay, like my baby said, if it's not popular, we all of us not supposed to be in the limelight. Okay, we need the people that's not in the limelight.
When you really serving
When
people.
you really serving people, because there's an audience for you.
And there's a specific group of people that
Exactly.
God has assigned for you.
Everybody have a specific.
We
my
never
wife
thought,
got her specific audience. Okay,
Yeah.
that's waiting for her.
Amen.
Okay.
and we never thought that God would have us align with the people from Cuba, the beautiful people from Cuba.
And we're gonna, you're gonna see that.
Yeah.
You're gonna see that on the upcoming episodes.
Yes.
Yes.
So on that note,
All right. I'm hungry. You're
we're
hungry.
about to have lunch
and
out
we
here
still
in
enjoying
Nashville.
Nashville, Tennessee. We're
Yes.
here for an event,
Yes.
and we're excited about attending that event later on this evening.
Yes.
So on that note, we out.
Yes.
Cheers.
Cheers. This is the day.
This is the day.
All right.
Peace.
Peace.